If somebody goes out there with your work ethic, following the proper system, they're gonna see that passive income. Whether this business or any direct sales business, I find that in the network marketing industry, 6-figure and 7-figure earners in those businesses.
Excitement is the number one key factor in determining whether or not you're gonna have a good run. Some people are okay just making an extra $5,000 a month. Some people say, no, I wanna make $5,000 every single day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BYLD podcast, and I'm super excited. So this is one of the profiles of success. We like to bring on some of our consultants that are out building a business and getting the proper results. So today we have in the studio somebody that is a mentor with the company. That means that he's closing solar deals for other people. Anybody in the entire company can select him to be a mentor. He's building a business. He's making solar sales. He's making rain H2O sales. He's a builder 500, so he's got a residual income also being built. And I have no doubt about it that this gentleman is going to be one of the biggest success stories in the company. So with that being said, let me introduce you guys to Mr. Calvin Hoang. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I like the shirt, bro.
Thank you. You're just representing, right?
That's right. That's right. Hey, that's one of the things about you is that I always see you representing, man. You're always building. You're always, they say that success leaves clues, right, Calvin? So one of the things that's consistent about you is that you're always on trainings. You're on the business overviews. You've got guests there. You're doing events. You're hosting events. You're putting booth places. And the reason why we do the profiles of success is because we want people to see people that are winning and see what it takes to win, right? But before we get into that, bro, tell me and tell the people that are watching this video, what is it that you did before starting to work with BYLD?
Yeah, so before this, I was actually in sales for a very long time, straight out of high school. I actually did not like sales whatsoever. And it's so funny that I landed a sales job. And through that company, I was able to learn what it meant to be a good salesperson. Because a lot of people think that sales is like driving something down someone's throat and not something that they really need, but that's not the right way. Sales is more so like consulting. You have a problem, like a doctor, right? Consulting you. He's not really selling you anything, even though the transactional side might be sales, but it's about finding what the problem is and then coming up with a solution. And so then that was what I was doing for AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, a lot of cell phone plans back in the days. And so when my buddies actually told me, hey, Calvin, if you're doing sales still, you should look into high ticket sales, look into going sold. Yeah. So then that's when I plugged in, actually worked with you for quite some time now. And then when we started BYLD, it was something amazing because I had the ability to see it from ground up. And that was something amazing. And so then I've been loving it ever since.
I love it, bro. And you hit the nail on the head, right? There's a different approach. I believe that day where hard closing, I think that day is dead and gone, right? It's the way that we teach it, and I think this is probably one of the reasons that drew you to us is that we don't teach hard sales, right? We teach consultation. Your job is to consult for the customer, find solutions, see if there's an issue, and find the solutions for that issue.
Yeah.
And it's also a very systematic way of doing it. So we very often let our people know you are a consultant. You are the professional with the experience. So consult for these people. And then, I believe that that's a new way of making sales. So what is it that drew you to come in and BYLD with us, right? We were a new company when you barely saw us, right?
Yeah.
So walk me through your thought process when I told you, hey, look, it's a new company, here's what's happening.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is the fact that we're able to actually all be part of something bigger. The ability to be able to build something and know that that's something that's going to be long lasting. A lot of times people join a business or they have a new job and it's just a job. There's no significance after the fact that they're done with the job itself. When they leave, it's kind of like building something for somebody else, right? And I think that one of the biggest key factors as far as me joining the business was the fact that I asked you that, hey, if I were to actually build something, put in all my efforts and put in a lot of hours, put in the work, time, energy to actually build something, can I actually walk away from this and still have a nest egg afterwards? And you told me that's exactly what we're building here. And I said, well, that's exactly why we're having this conversation, right?
Yep.
And I think nowadays, more than ever, it's super important to know that the work that we're doing here is not just going to pay us one time, but pay us multiple times. So I really love the fact that people can use this opportunity to actually build something for themselves and for their families. It's like generational wealth.
Yes,
right?
yes. I love the things that you say because that's exactly our aim, right? We have a saying in the company. We don't use people to build a company, but rather we use a company to build people,
Mm.
right? And we built it the way that we built it, where we pay 85% to the field, 70% to the seller. The other 30%, half of that is paid in overrides. So eventually, as you start to rank up, these are lifetime ranks. Once you get to those ranks, they're lifetime ranks. And guess what your team is doing? They're selling. Some of them, most of them are probably trying to build a team, rank up, which is 100% optional. So that's why when you ask me the question, can I build something where eventually I could walk away? I say right off into the sunset. For sure, right? So one of the things that I say all the time is it takes 5 years to make life fair, right? If somebody goes out there with your work ethic, following the proper system for the next 5 years, that's not a lot to ask for, and it could be part-time,
Mhm.
um, they're gonna see that passive income. They're gonna grow as a person. So another question I have for you is we do a lot of trainings, right? Leadership trainings, sales trainings, personal development, public speaking, all that stuff, right? How have you seen or have you seen any change? Have you felt growth as being a part of our community?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like the biggest thing about this is the fact that we're always put on the spotlight.
Right.
The fact that we're actually having conversations like these for many people, and it doesn't matter where you are in the company. I love the fact that there is no seniority here. Everybody starts on the same level,
Yeah.
and doesn't mean there's like a hierarchy where okay, when you come in first, then that's you get the first dibs. Here, it's more merit based, and it's always going to be that way. And I think a company that has that type of structure is always going to thrive. And I think for me, is always loving the fact that I get to work with like-minded entrepreneurs, people that have goals that say, "Hey, you know what? I'm meant to do something bigger." And a lot of times, we use the vehicle to help us get to where we want to be eventually. But that's what we're doing right now. Might not be the only thing that we want to do.
Correct.
So I really love that combination, the ability to be able to do multiple things at the same time. And like you mentioned, a lot of people can be doing this on a part-time basis.
Yeah, it's true. I understand because I have other ambitions as well. I understand that people have some dreams that they want to do or a dream business or whatever the case may be. So I look at this like a vehicle to the whatever the goals are, right?
Mhm.
Maybe somebody wants to be an artist, right? And they're like, I've had people tell me things like that, right? Not necessarily an artist, but just, that's an example. Whether I want to do this because of passion, but there's not enough money in it, but my passion is that. Well, why don't you build a business that could eventually allow you in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever long it takes.
Right.
Then you could do your passion because money isn't an issue because you built a brokerage that you're continuously getting paid on the sales and the residual and the memberships that we have built in, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So I remember that you mentioned that to me. I'm like, bro, this isn't something you don't have to be a person selling what we sell, whether solar or water security forever.
Huge, that's
It
huge.
there's a light at the end of the tunnel. That's something that I continuously say.
Yeah.
So that leads me to the next question. You're having results, you're closing mentor deals, right? Your residual income is growing, your team is growing, your passive income is growing. What do you attribute your success to? If somebody were to ask, yo,
Mhm.
Calvin, how can I start to get the results that you're getting? What would you say to them?
There's a lot of different things, but I would say the biggest one is plugging in. I think you once said that it's kind of like a bonfire. If you stray too far from the bonfire itself for a while, you're gonna get cold and you're just gonna, shrivel away. And I think the biggest part about growing, it's the idea that it's not going to happen instantly. So many people think it's going to be instant gratification. Like, hey, how do I get the microwave success? There's no such thing as microwave success unless you just hit the lottery, right? But then I think it's the fact that we're plugging in and we're always getting these constant trainings. Like, hey, learn about personal development. Go and watch YouTube videos about John Maxwell, or learn about sales from top producers, even outside of your industry. Go ahead and read these books. Go ahead and watch these trainings. Go ahead and actually practice this. And then the ability to be able to be on camera and then teaching other people. I think teaching people, like what you're doing as well too, JC, is the biggest thing that can separate a leader from a follower. Because once you are able to coach and train somebody to do the same thing, that's duplication. And I think that's the biggest part in anything when it comes to building an organization. Right. So I think I would attribute my success to the ability to just follow the crowd A crowd is as in like, the company, and then just following the top leaders.
Yes.
I always ask like people for advice. If I see someone like yourself, or I see another mentor, or another trainer that is doing something that I'm not doing, I will go like, hey, message them. Hey, can I grab you for like 5 minutes? Let me go ahead and just ask you some questions and pick your brain. Because no one is the smartest person. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Right.
Right. So I love the resource fullness that we have and the ability to just connect with so many like-minded people here.
It's true. That is a sign when you see your business is growing. It starts with you, right?
Mhm.
You're collecting utility bills. You're setting appointments for the water, the solar, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever it is we sell, recruiting a couple folks. But then eventually you start seeing, oh, wow, I've got team members that are now doing that as well. They're now making sales. They're now running their own meetings or doing a meeting, or their scheduled appointments, or maybe they got promoted to a mentor and they're closing sales for others. That's when you start, I read a long time ago that we are the happiest when we are creating.
Mhm.
For example, I give this as an example often when I do trainings. Not a couple of years ago, I bought my son this like play toy at IKEA. It was like a cash register, right? He was like 7. He's now 10. So 6 or 7. His cousins came and they all go up to me and say, my son says, can you build this for me, daddy? Because he wanted to play with his cousins right then and there. And I'm like, I was watching TV and it was a weekend. I was relaxed. I was like, later, son. And he says, oh, come on, come on. So they all say, fine. So I get to building it. I thought I was going to finish in an hour. It finished in 2 hours. To be 2 hours, right? So I was not expecting to build this thing for 2 hours. But as I'm seeing it come together, I'm feeling proud. I'm like, oh, I like to draw as well. As I see that drawing come together, you feel proud. As you start to see your team coming together, your team growing, it gives you that feeling like I'm building something. So you're building a company within a company. That's the way that we build it. So, I see what you're saying with that. And a key thing that you said is plugging in. There's a system for success. If you plug into the system and you follow the 8-point system, right? Launching the proper way, connecting to the trainings. I mean, we ask people, look, it's 3-4 hours a week of trainings and content that you need to plug into to build your brokerage. And I think, and give me your thoughts on this. I find, Calvin, that people that are successful in this business don't look at it like, oh, it's a $99 monthly membership business, or it's a $49 monthly membership business, and they put the worth of $99 on it. They put the worth on it, people that are successful, of something that costs them significantly more than $99 a month, right?
Yeah.
For example, you have your 4, right, to pay no more, right?
Right.
So somebody like you don't even pay that monthly membership because you refer your 4 to pay no more.
That's right.
Yet you still treat it like it costs you thousands of dollars a month minimum, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's very important as well too. The fact that some people will treat it as, hey, this is just a $99 investment, and then they just treat it as such. And then you have some people that treat it as, no, this is a $100,000 business that I'm investing on, and it's all about the mindset. I think people that are successful, most of them, if we study them, it's always about being rich in the mind first.
Yes.
And then it becomes manifested in reality.
Right.
So for someone that is brand new here, I would say, think about what your goals are, and your goals don't have to be the same as us. Like, it doesn't have to be the same as mine or JC or anybody else's in the company. But it's more so like, how can you use this as a vehicle to help you get what is it that you want? Some people are okay just making an extra $5,000 a month, like as a supplementary income. Some people say, no, I want to make 5,000 every single day.
Right.
And the fact that you can actually do it however you like, but sometimes I feel like that $99 gets in the way for some people because, yes, like you mentioned, they would treat it just like a little side gig instead of a business opportunity that can grow to something very huge.
Yes.
So I think it's the concept is, some people treat it like, oh, okay, I just get like a little egg versus, oh, no, I'm building a golden goose here that can lay multiple golden eggs for the long run.
Right.
Right. And then some people, if they treat it that way, that's how their business is going to grow.
I love it. I love that. That makes a lot of sense. And that is something that I hit the point, you hit the point, but I want to really hit the point one last time. Whether this business or any direct sales business that you believe in, I find that in the network marketing industry, you've got to treat it more than whatever the fees are to get started or whatever the monthly fees are. The 6-figure and 7-figure earners in those businesses, they don't treat it like a little size business
Job, yeah.
I always said I pretended as if I invested $50,000 or $100,000 on a franchise. So guess what? What kind of effort am I going to put if I put in a minimum of 50 grand a month? 50 grand or to 100 grand to start. plus a $10,000 a month overhead.
Yeah.
What is the effort going to look like? That's what it takes to be successful. And when people snap out of it and they go from, it's not a $99 a month business. This is a $100,000 investment and $10,000 a month business. And I should treat it as such. That's when you become successful. Because here's the thing. For example, I met owners of, let's say, solar, right?
Yeah.
All they offer is solar. They don't offer security, water. They only offer in like a region of California.
Right.
We live in California. Their overhead is 10, 15 grand a month. And they don't even make the same amount of money that our reps make on their sales.
Right.
They're like, wait a minute, your reps make this much? I don't even make this much. But his overhead is 10 grand a month. And he has significantly more sales. You know why? Because he realizes my point is people don't realize what they have in their heads.
That's all right. Yeah.
One thing I notice about you is this, you also have a supportive spouse. So my question to you is, what do you attribute having the importance of having your spouse at least on board, even if he or she is not, and I say he or she, to anybody may be watching, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, having a spouse that is supportive. How important is that for your business?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to turn around and ask you that question as well too, because you've built a lot of different things, including this business, and you have an amazing supportive wife yourself. And I want to go ahead and ask you that same question. Like, what is it that you think your spouse is able, or not just your spouse, that anybody's spouse is able to provide? Because what's that example of a good spouse? And we're talking about for building a business, right? Because sometimes they don't have the right mindset. But in your opinion, what do you think it was for you that your spouse, Jennifer, had that other people didn't have, that allowed you to create this type of massive success stories in business?
Well, we teach all the time, you got to recruit yourself, recruit your spouse, recruit the world. When I say recruit the spouse, it doesn't mean actually recruiting them to participate in the business, even though that's ideal.
Yep.
But show them, I want you to see what is it that I'm doing. I want you to see what I'm involved in. I want you to see the bigger vision, even if it's not for you. You don't want to do it. It's not necessarily why we're having you look. I want you to look so you can see how excited I am and why I'm so excited. And even if getting their support, their buy-in, like, I understand what you're doing. I'm busy with whatever I've got going on, but I support you. I see why you're so excited. Now they're supported in building it, because when you have a spouse, whether it's a husband or whether it's a wife, that isn't supportive, and I've got both sides. I got people that have supportive spouses, and I got people that have unsupportive spouses. Trust me, there's a big difference in the production, in the mindset of the people that have a supportive spouse, right? So yes, it's one of the best ways is for sure, get them to support by looking. The best way is get them to support by participating. The second way is get them to support by not participating, but supporting what you do. I got you. I understand you're getting on the Zoom. I understand these are the days that you're disconnected at this time because you've got the trainings. I understand you've got some events that you have to go to, right? We have like 2 big events a year. Come to those events, and they come with you, or they let you go without giving you any issues. That's how that is. Now, am I saying that if you don't have a supportive spouse, you can't be successful? No, that's not what I'm saying. However, it's much better, right? So anyways,
Much easier.
so tell me about your experience with that.
No, I was going to say that's pretty much on the money right there, right? Because I think that no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it's your business or this business or other ventures that you're doing, it's always nice to have support. And your spouse is the person that, let's be honest, you're going to spend the most time with them over the rest of your life, right? So imagine being in an environment where and because we're in the entrepreneurial type of business, nothing is guaranteed, right? Only thing is guaranteed is your work ethic. You put in the action, and then the results you're going to get. It's going to vary depending on your experience, your skill sets, and all these different things. And then every single day we're grinding. Every single day we're getting beat down by like objections or obstacles that we face, right? And then imagine that if you go back home and then you speak to somebody that doesn't have your back, and I'm not saying that's my wife, and my wife is very supportive, right? But let's just imagine in a scenario where your spouse is not supportive, and not only that, you're getting beat up at work per se. Now when you come back home, you're trying to get relaxed, you're trying to get that support, and then beside that, you're not even getting that. You're getting the opposite. Now you're getting pushed down even more. That's not a good environment to be in. And sometimes this is like a tricky topic, because I do believe that your spouse is going to really help you either elevate to the person that you want to become or slow you down. And unfortunately, sometimes people, get into the wrong relationships, and I don't want to get into that, but I think that for people who are very successful, one thing that they realize is that the person that they're running with has to be somebody on the same level or the same mindset. It's because like if I'm gonna go in a race with you, JC, like, hey, it's me and you. We're gonna have to tag team this, right? We have to relay the baton to each other. If you're really good, but then I'm really weak, or vice versa, we're not gonna make a good team. We have to be at the same level because if we're not on the same wavelength, we're not gonna get anywhere.
That's right.
It's kind of like we're going on the boat, and then let's say, hey, we want to go that direction, but then you're rolling this way, I'm rolling that way. Not it does it not going anywhere. Yeah.
I you didn't want to hit on it so hard, but I will. I remember being in my 20s and having a girlfriend that I knew wasn't on the same wavelength that I was. And I knew I got to get rid of this person. I may like her, I may be attracted to her, we may have fun, but the way that our minds work and our goals and ambitions in life do not align.
Correct.
And this is when I wish I had somebody. I'm now 41. I wish my 41-year-old self could reach back and have a conversation with me and say, listen, man, if you want to be successful, a successful businessman one day, which was an ambition of mine for, since a very early age, you need to make sure that you pick the right ones. And you know that that's not the right one. There's a saying, if you can't change the people around you, you got to change the people around you, right? So if you can't change the way they think, the way they are, how pessimistic or whatever the case may be, you got to replace them. Change means replace, right? So here I'm giving like some advice to the young entrepreneur, whether it's a man or a woman. If you're in a relationship and you're not married and you guys don't have kids, it obviously gets more complicated like that, right? But sometimes there's some younger people that are just in relationships, right? That they even know, I'm not going to be in this relationship forever. You got to know you're better off alone than with bad company. That's a very common phrase in Spanish. Mejor solo que mal acompañado, right?
And I want to piggyback on that too, because I think that it's not like they don't realize what's going on. It's the fact that they do realize it, but they're just comfortable with it.
Yeah.
They're just good with it because they know there's something better, but they don't want to make the extra effort to sacrifice what they have now in order to get a new partner or whatever. Right. It's kind of like you're too scared as far as like opening up the door, but you know that you have to close the previous doors in order to open the next one.
Yes.
And sometimes people just don't want to take that leap. So they don't for that. And yeah, that's the main thing.
I mean, to finish off on this topic, bottom line is it's uncomfortable, but success exists on the other side of comfort.
Correct.
Whether it's that topic or any topic, picking up the phone, showing up to a training, traveling to an event,
Going to the gym.
going to the gym. Success exists outside the comfort zone. So one last question for you, Calvin. What advice would you give to the new person getting started, launching their BYLD and Encore solar business? What advice would you give them?
Get excited. This is just like anything. Excitement is the number one key factor in determining whether or not you're going to have a good run. There was once this video, I'm not sure if you've seen it before, but it was like they interviewed football players and they would just talk to them about their mindset, and nobody knew which team where they're coming into or which one they're going to be drafted into, but there were studies that showed the ones that happen to be the most excited typically have the highest performance. Why? Because internally, you cannot lie. If you are excited about something, it shows not only in your energy, but your actions and the people that you deal with as well too. That energy is gonna come out.
Right.
So imagine if I talk to somebody that says, hey, how do you feel about this match? You're going up against this champion, you're going to fight them, or you're going to play against this best team, and the team goes, yeah, I don't know, it seemed pretty tough. Like, we're gonna try our best. We're gonna try our best. That's the worst. Versus somebody that says, you know what? Hey, you're the underdog here, but how do you feel about this team? Oh, I'm super excited about this because I get to participate at the highest level. You know what? I'm gonna actually go out there and crush it
and rise to the occasion.
Yeah. Now, no one knows like what their capabilities are. They've never seen their track records, never seen any of their videotapes or films, right? But if they look at these two individuals, they're gonna say, "Oh, the second guy is better," just because of his energy, just because he seems more excited about it. So my advice to new people would always be get excited about this, because think about the last time you were excited about something from the day that you were born. Like when you were a little kid. When I was a little kid, I remember being super excited when my dad bought me a new bicycle. He said, "Hey, Alvin, look, a new bike." And I was like super excited. Now, was I pretty good at it? No, but I was so excited about it that it didn't take me long to figure out how to ride the bicycle. And then I got really good at it because I was excited about it, right?
Right.
So I think that goes to say, like, even in business and everything that we do, you just have to be excited about everything, whether it's your business, your relationships, or anything else. It's all about making sure that first it comes from within and then it comes out in the results.
And one advice I would give, I think what you said is phenomenal. Getting excited, having that positive attitude, right? One of the things that I mention all the time is you got to be excited, but what you're saying is, how do you get excited, for example? plugging into the system, getting results,
Mhm.
right? So the bar, belief, action, results.
Mhm.
If you have big belief because you're excited, you see the vision, you're plugged in, you will take the proper actions. Enough of the proper actions create the positive results. And guess what results do? They continue to feed to your belief.
Yep.
So it's just a triangle
Cycle.
effect, right? That keeps going. But it's hard to stay excited if you're not plugging in, if you're not doing your part. At the end of the day, we got to do our part. So, anyways, man, had a great time with you, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast, brother. And I appreciate you very much, man. Let's keep crushing it, bro.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.